I was praying, and it happened the next day. I dropped to my knees in tears. And the next morning, the answer was there. No signs. No warnings. Just God, moving silently, powerfully, perfectly. Have you ever had a prayer answered so quickly it shook you to the core? Welcome back to God is Power, where faith meets real life. Today's topic is something truly miraculous, the moments when we pray. And almost immediately, God responds. Have you ever whispered a desperate prayer in the dark, and by sunrise, the impossible turned into reality? That's not coincidence. That's divine alignment. Let's begin with a powerful truth from the Bible. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65 verse 24. This verse reminds us that sometimes God doesn't wait days, weeks, or years. Sometimes, He acts immediately, because He has already heard the prayer rising from your soul before your lips ever spoke it. In my own life, I remember praying for guidance, feeling completely lost. The very next day, a door opened I hadn't even knocked on. A conversation happened that changed everything. Has that happened to you too? 2. Why God answers so quickly sometimes. The answer may come the next day because you were spiritually aligned. The lesson had been learned, and the test was complete. Someone else was praying for you too. Your heart was open enough to receive. Saint Augustine once said, God is always trying to give good things to us, but our hands are too full to receive them. The night I prayed, my hands were finally empty. I had let go of control, and that's when He acted. 3. It's not always about speed, but trust. Even though this story is about a next-day miracle, remember, speed is not a measure of God's love. But when it does happen fast, it's a reminder of how close He really is. The Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth. Psalm 145 verse 18. He doesn't delay out of neglect, He aligns things with His perfect will. When you pray, heaven begins moving. 4. A word that describes this season of life, alignment. If I could describe this period of my life in one word, it would be alignment. Because when your spirit, your faith, and your surrender align with God's timing, things move fast. Let me ask you, what word would you use to describe this season of your life? Comment below. I want to hear your stories. Drop a comment with these prompts: I prayed, and God answered by. This season of my life feels like. I'm still waiting, but I believe because. My miracle came when I finally. Reading each other's testimonies fuels our faith. Let's build a wall of hope in the comments section. Psalm for meditation, Psalm 40. I waited patiently for the Lord, He inclined to me and heard my cry. Psalm 40 verse 1. This psalm speaks of waiting, crying out, and then suddenly being lifted from the pit. It perfectly fits the theme of prayer, faith, and divine timing.